What's up guys, it's Josh from KeepItTechie, and today I wanted to show you guys a different Linux distro called MX Linux. So MX Linux is another open source Linux distro based on Anti-X and MEP-IS. The default desktop environment is xfce, which has its own style of desktop design to make it stand out from other distributions. Now, one of the big things that makes MX Linux stand out is that it doesn't use systemd by default. We all know that in the Linux community, there is a lot of controversial discussion for and against the usage of systemd. But MX Linux kind of stands on the side of giving the user the option to use the initializer that they want to. But just a side note, systemd is installed, but it's disabled by default. Okay, so let me go on and get to the website that actually made me do this distro review. Okay, cool. So if you've been around the Linux community, then you've probably been to this website. It's called Distro Watch. Well, this is the website that actually prompted me to do this video, because I always go here and check to see what distributions are actually popular. And what they do on Distro Watch is actually track the page clicks. And it kind of gives you a representation of how many people are actually active within the community of the surrounding the distribution. So just to show you guys right fast, on the right hand side, and they didn't have this ad here, it used to be at the top, but this is the ranking right here, and it's basically page hit rankings, like I said. And so this is MX Linux, as you can see, is number 1. So that's what kind of made me do this distro review. I've known about MX Linux, but I never really used it. So this will be my first time actually looking at it with you guys. So let's actually go to their website, which I already have it open. And here is their main website. So MX Linux is a cooperative venture between Anti-X and former MEP-IS communities. And I hope I'm saying that right. I heard this is an older community. Well, both of these are an old community, and they kind of came together and created MX Linux. I don't fully know the history, but if you're interested, just click on it. They have links, that'll get you to a wiki that explains the two communities. So, and then it says, using the best tools and talents from each distro, it's a mid-weight OS designed to combine an elegant and efficient desktop with simple configuration, high stability, solid performance, and medium-sized footprint. And they have a video here on someone actually doing a video or a review on MX Linux. This is, kind of a screenshot right here. So that's kind of what the desktop looks like. But we're going to go through and install this thing. And just like all Linux distributions, they have an installer or ISO. You just hit download MX Linux. And I'm going to go through this with you guys so you guys can see. But the current release is MX 19.2. And so you could download it from here, and they have the MD5, hashes here. So you could check to make sure you're down in the proper, ISO or the correct ISO. But, just click on one of these links. You can either do a direct download or use the mirrors. I always recommend people do the torrent files that way, because it's kind of fast, in my opinion. It's really faster than just downloading directly from a mirror or a direct download. So, do the torrent, because you'll grab the ISO from multiple people instead of pulling it from one server. So that's pretty much all you need to do. Once you download the ISO, burn it to a USB stick, and if you're going to install it directly on some hardware. And I'm sure if you're downloading MX Linux, the ISO, and you're burning it to a USB, then you understand how to do that. You can use like Etcher or the dd command that'll install the ISO, or write the ISO to the USB so you can boot up the ISO. But of course, I'm going to be doing it in VirtualBox, so let's get started on that. Okay, cool. So I built out the virtual machine. I gave it 2 gigabytes of memory. I actually gave it 2 processors and a 20 gigabyte hard drive, as well as I set the adapter to bridge so it'll pull its own IP address. I always like to do that, but let's go down and go through the installation together. So let's go down, boot up right fast. So what I want to do is select the first one. This is the live boot up, so let's get to that right fast. This will allow you to install the OS, so it's gonna let this thing boot up. But the installation process is very simple, very quick. They have their own installer, which is pretty cool. You know, it's good to see a distro with their own installer, you know, instead of you know, just pulling an installer from somewhere, some other project or something like that. They have their own, you know, official installer. So cool. So the way you install is basically by double clicking on the installer, and it's on the desktop. So just hit installer, double click on it. It'll open up the installer, and it's very simple to follow. It automatically, you know, pulls the layout of your keyboard, which is US. So change that if you need to. This is the disk setup, so I'm gonna just leave it on auto install using entire disk. Now you can also encrypt, and you can leave free space on it if you want to. And then they also have a partitioning tool, so you can go through and partition a hard drive yourself and set up the system how you want to. I know some people like to have their home directory on a different partition, which I do that. Just to, you know, kind of separate everything from the main system. So let's go down and click next on there. I'm not gonna, you know, change any of those settings. This right here is just saying, you know, are you okay with it formatting this drive? So it's gonna create those partitions, install grub for Linux, and and we're gonna use grub. So boom. And then this is the computer name, so I'm gonna just name it MX19. And then you can set up the computer domain, which I'm gonna just leave example because I'm not gonna use it. It says I'm gonna set it up using work group, which is fine, but you know, you can obviously put it on a domain if you need to. So let's press next. And this is setting up the locale, you know, time zone, all that stuff. So let's go down and find my area, which let's go to LA. Hold on. There we go. LA. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. So you got to select there. And just to show you, it's already going through the, you know, installation process. It's copying all the files over. Because these steps that I'm doing right here, they're going to be done later in the installation process, as far as like setting up accounts, you know, all that good stuff is done kind of like after they copy all the files over to the partition, you know, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna create a default user, and that's something you want to do. Put a password on it. I always recommend people do that. You know, put a password on your system, especially if you travel with your laptop or whatever. You want to make sure you have a password on it. That way, if you lose it or if somebody, you know, gets your computer, they can't get into your system and get access to your files. And also, since I'm bringing that up, it's best to encrypt your system as well. So just wanted to throw that in there. And never set the auto login, because if you set that, you know, and you got a password on your account, it's going to auto log into your system without you typing in a password. And someone has access to all your stuff, unless you have it encrypted. So let's go next right here. And then now all we do is wait. So I'm going to speed this up and go through the installation process. Once it's done, we're going to boot up the system from here and just keep it going. Okay, cool. So the installation is complete. Let's go down and restart the system by just clicking finish. It'll go down automatic, and I left that check mark up there, and it basically said it's gonna automatically restart the system once you close out the installer. So we can just press enter right here, and this will remove the disk. And let's go on and boot up. And I apologize, my camera is not on, but now we are back there. Okay, cool. So the system is back up or up. So let's go on and log into it. And I want to show you guys the actual desktop, what it looks like, and probably persuade you to try it out. You know, go on and install it on a VM. So, but one thing you'll notice, and I know you guys seen all this doing the installation when we was in a live CD, but the you know, panel is on the left hand side, which is a little bit different from, you know, what you'll see in other systems. So let me fix this right fast, and I apologize, I'm just trying to fix my screen so it'll show for you guys. All right, let's close that. Cool. And close that. And like I was saying, you see the panel is on the left hand side, which is a little bit different. You know, it's got the time up here. Comes with Firefox, you know, installed by default. And actually, let's see what file manager is on here. Oh, Thunor. So Thunor is on here. So that's the file manager, and it has Thunor 1.8.14. So let's close that. It's got a pretty cool theme. I like that theme, that color. So here's the volume. This is the update manager. It's like an MX installer. Let me see if I clicked on it. Yeah, it's coming up. So this says MX updater, view and upgrade, preview and full upgrade. So we can go through and, you know, upgrade all these packages straight from here, which is pretty cool. So see, automatic, let's answer yes. Let's do that. And let's go down and update the system right fast. Shouldn't take too long. It's only like 39 packages from what I see. So let's run through it right fast. And that's pretty cool. It opens up the terminal for you and it goes through the upgrade. But this is, you know, Debian. So you can easily open up the terminal and just type sudo apt install update and then sudo apt install upgrade, and that'll update all these packages for you. And I downloaded this ISO yesterday, I believe. And so based on what it said, I think it was that release was, or that ISO was released May or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, when the date on that ISO. So it should be updated with the latest, well, with majority of the latest packages. So that's why we only had like 38 packages to upgrade. So, and while that's going, let's go on and just show you some more of the features or whatever. There's an unmount button. So if you have like hard drives plugged into the system, you know what I'm saying, you can unmount them. That's cool. I never knew that. They have the manual. They have frequently asked questions. I won't go to that yet, but here's the battery management, then the network management, and then this is the clipboard. So if you copy something, you know what I'm saying, you can manage your clipboard, which is pretty cool. I remember seeing that on Linux Mint or Manjaro. They have that on their system, and I believe I installed xfce on there as well. But yeah, this is, you know, a pretty cool thing. And then they have right here is the logout button. So that'll bring up, you know, shut down, log out, you know, lock the system and all that stuff. Let me click on it right fast. I don't know what it's, I can always hit cancel. I just didn't want to mess up the upgrade, but and this will minimize everything, I believe. I think this is what this is. Click to start dragging MX updater. Yeah, I don't even know what that's for, to be honest. I thought that was like the desktop. Oh yeah, it is. It is. That's the desktop. They have 2 desktops by default, so it's pretty cool. And they have that conky desktop, and I never really messed around with it because I always found the configuration files kind of confusing, to be honest, the conky. But that's a cool setup of it. I wish I can get that on my system. I'll try to get that on my main system as well. Probably steal their configuration file for it or whatever. But anyway, so if we go to the start menu, I just wanted to show you right fast, but you know, it's just like any other XFCE desktop, you know, that I've shown. You know, you have all your different programs broken out into different categories, as well as you can look at them all. So I'm not going to really go through all this, but one of the things I wanted to point out was the MX tools. And I saw this on their website, but they have, you know, a lot of tools that they have built themselves for this system. So bash config, so this allows you to configure bash, your bash RC, ch root rescue scan, so that's an application that'll help you rescue your system if you need to. This is app-based package manager, format USB, then iDevice mounter. So I'm assuming this is GUI for mounting iPhones, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if it also allows you to mount. Oh, so it's specifically for Apple products, so iPhones and iPads. So that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your live USB kernel updater. So you can update the kernel, you know, all that good stuff. MX boot options. So you can change, you know, your boot options. So if you want things to start up during boot, you know, all that good stuff. Then you got your boot repair program. They got MX cleanup. So this is, you know, similar to BleachBit, I'm assuming. And then MX Codex installer, so that's cool right there. Then here's the MX Conky right here. So this changed the display and desktop system monitor. So basically this right here, you can adjust it. And the reason mine is sitting right here in the center, because, you know, I had to adjust the desk display. But if I log out, log back in, it'll put it in the right location, which is probably right over here. And then here we go. We got, you know, MX date and time. You have GPG key. You can fix GPG keys, check and install missing app GPG keys. So that's pretty cool. Then you got the menu editor, MX Live USB Maker. So you can create live USBs using that application. Similar to Etcher or like the DD command or whatever. And I'm not going to go through them all, but it's a lot of other featured MX tools that they have under here. So you can go through, and the tweaks, that was another thing. So they have tweaks for you. So you can go through and tweak the desktop, make it look how you want it. You know what I'm saying? And a slew of other tools that, you know, may be interesting. But let me just show you guys. It comes with LibreOffice installed by default. They have a lot of multimedia applications installed, like Clementine. That's pretty cool. I've heard of that. I wanted to do a video on that as well. Clementine. I heard that's one of the, and I don't want to use the wrong word, but up and coming music player, so to speak. I know it's been around for a while, but it's starting to get some traction based on what I'm seeing. And then, you know, Pulse Audio, VLC, you know, internet. Like I said, it comes with Firefox. You know, you got GNOME, PPP, which is dial-up tool. Then you got HexChat, Thunderbird transmission. And then another thing, I always like to see this, but GIMP is included. You know what I'm saying? They have some other applications that allow you to, you know, scan for PDFs, like create PDFs. LibreDraw, you know, that's all LibreOffice products are on here by default, like I said. And then they have some development stuff, a few games, accessories, So you have different things on here like Archive Manager, which is pretty good. I like Archive Manager. That's something I use on my system when I don't feel like, bothering with the command line. Then I can use the Archive Manager to create archives for me. And they have backup software installed by default. So Lucky Backup. I've never used Lucky Backup, but I might do a video on it, just checking it out. But password and keys. But anyway, it looks like a pretty cool desktop. So I really want you guys to check it out or whatever. But overall, MX Linux, is very fast and responsive. And that's all based on the virtual machine that I'm running it in. I'm not sure if you could tell, but the install, and I know this is a virtual machine, but the install, it took about like 10 minutes to install the system. And that was with, I got pretty decent, internet. Most of the applications and all that stuff, I'm assuming, is on the ISO. So it's just installing it, copying it over and installing it, and then doing updates from there and creating the accounts, and all that good stuff. But this distribution, includes a lot of tools, to help you as a user, and like I stated, it's built, on Debian, which is, a very stable Linux distro. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check out MX Linux for yourself. If you have any questions, or if you want to talk about your own experience while using MX Linux, just leave a comment down in the description boxes below, or the comment boxes below. And of course, keep it techie.